kill more than 28,000 Jews at a Nazi death camp in World War II. But today, 91-year-old John Demjanjuk was freed pending an appeal to a court in Munich. Prosecutors had successfully argued that as an SS guard in Poland, Demjanjuk was an accessory to systematic murder, and so his release has angered Holocaust survivors. Though Demjanjuk, a Ukrainian, has always protested his innocence, a warning: there is flash photography in Jonathan Rugman's report.
He was one of the Nazi hunters most wanted, and at the age of 91, John Demjanjuk has been found guilty of horrific crimes, involved in the murder of over 28,000 Jews, yet freed on account of his age and time already served. An appeal could take another year, and one of Germany's last Nazi trials has delivered a strange kind of justice. Demjanjuk was accused of forcing Jews into the gas chambers. There was no evidence the SS guard had been a killer himself, but the murder was so systematic that being party to the Holocaust is now enough to convict in a German court. 2 years ago, Demjanjuk was living in Ohio as a retired car mechanic until US officials deported him to Germany to face trial. His family produced this video of his aches and pains in a desperate bid to keep him in America, where he'd fled after the Second World War. For over 3 decades, he protested his innocence, claiming it was a case of mistaken identity. This ID card showed that he had trained with the SS. His lawyers unsuccessfully argued that it was a forgery by the KGB, and that as he had fought for Stalin before being captured by Hitler's army, he too was a victim. Over 20 years ago, Demjanjuk was sentenced to death in Israel, convicted of being Ivan the Terrible, the monster of the gas chambers at Treblinka. But he was eventually freed after evidence that the real Ivan was somebody else.
And please do not put the noose around my neck for the deeds of others.
Today it was the Germans who found him guilty of crimes here in Poland, where around 250,000 perished. Old men shot, women raped before they were gassed. Demjanjuk, the first non-German convicted of Nazi crimes in Germany, yet sentenced to just 5 years after an 18-month trial delayed by health concerns, and then released pending an appeal. And that astonishes some of Demjanjuk's victims. Harry Bibbering is now 85 and told me he had been orphaned at just 13 after both parents died during the Holocaust. His mother at Demjanjuk's camp, Sobibor.
How do you feel about the verdict? I mean, the judge saying that he's 91, he's an old man.
I don't see any relevance to the fact that he's 91. For starters, no 91-year-old prisoner, of which there must have been many, was excused the gas chamber because of his age. Therefore I can't see any difference between him having managed to fool us for so long that he should now escape simply because he's 91. And I'm absolutely appalled that he has been released.
Before the verdict, Demjanjuk looked ill. But after his release, he was a suspiciously better-looking man. An accessory to mass murder, free once again. Justice of sorts after 68 years.